All right, everybody, welcome back to Well Laid Plans. On this week's episode, we are going over Captain America. Steve Rogers, Captain America, to be precise. And today I am joined by the infamous Mike. Mike, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing good, staying busy. It's been a crazy weather this lovely weekend that we've had here. Uh, we went from 20 mile per hour winds and like 8 inches of rain to 50 mile per hour winds to today was a calm, quiet, beautiful day outside. It has been
Yeah,
pretty odd. So hopefully it gets back to Mother Nature gets back to having just a calm, nice weather time going forward here because I like consistency. I'm not all about all this all over the place stuff.
yeah. I'll definitely take this weekend over last weekend though.
Yeah,
Last weekend wasn't too great.
yeah. Last weekend wasn't great either. It's been and like the weeks have been like nice, and then it's like oh it's Friday, time to go crazy. Um, so not too bad. But yeah, for those of you not familiar, this is the updated version of Captain America Steve Rogers. So if you're listening to this and you just bought the core set, you're probably going to wonder why does my card look different than this card? They did an errata last year, and we have new cards. So he has changed a little bit. Um, However, his leadership is still phenomenal. It is a day unlike any other. It is an Avengers leadership, and each turn you may reduce the power cost of the first superpower used by each allied character by one to a minimum of one. A couple highlights: he is a four threat character. He rolls defenses are 4-4-3 with a medium move. He does have bodyguard, which is considered the good bodyguard. He just has to be within range two of the allied character instead of the attacking character, and he can pay one power for that if it's the first superpower he activates, or two if he used another one before that, which he's not going to. Most of the time, bodyguard's going to be the one that's cheaper. Vibranium shield. When this character is targeted by a physical or energy attack, he can pay two or one to add two dice to the character's defense roll against that attack. He has 5 health. His backside, he gains a health. The only thing that changes on his backside, he does get I can do this all day. When he's defending against attacks, this character adds blanks in his defense roll to its total successes. He does have 3 attacks. He has just a range 2 5 dice builder that has a size 3 push on a wild. Shield throw, which is usually the attack that's used the most in my experience playing against him. It's a range 4 5 dice attack. It's a gainer, so you gain 1 power. It ignores line of sight, and you don't benefit from cover. It has a wild ricochet, which allows you to make an additional attack on another character within 3 of the first target character, and then he has a spender for 2 dice. He gets a range 2 6 dice attack, and it has a size 3 character throw on it, which is pretty good. So he holds up really well. Kind of forgotten about though. I feel like the new hotness, and I feel like Sam specifically kind of had people kind of forget about him. But this leadership is phenomenal. Sorry about that. Had to take a drink there. Mike, what do you think about Steve Rogers here?
Uh, I liked him since I started playing the game with Brad and everybody. But uh, yeah, I do think that Sam was the big leader for a long time. But I've always liked Steve. I always want to call him Captain America. I know they're both of them. They're called that, but.
Yeah, we have
Uh,
we also have 2 Steve Rogers and we have 2 Captain Americas, which is real annoying. I guess 3 technically. Is the other one just is it Captain America Steve Rogers is the name of it?
I
Or
think the other one's
Steve
Steve
Rogers?
Rogers, Captain America,
Yeah,
and then his real name is Steve Rogers. I know
yeah,
that a lot of people like to make fun of that one's card.
yeah. It's real annoying that we have 3 characters with Captain America in his name, but Um, this one is the better of the two Steve Rodgers. Uh, but yeah, Sam definitely put a little damper, I think, in playing Steve, and I don't think that's really fair to Steve because I mean he's a really good character from top to bottom. Like, there's not really any bad on this card. His affiliation leadership, which we'll get into uh, when we get to the characters, you're gonna really realize that it makes almost every character better. There's very few characters that do not benefit from this leadership. One of them is one of my favorite characters in the game, and that's good old Iron Fist. He doesn't really gain anything from this leadership. One of the few characters in this game that just simply do not gain anything, and I am having the hardest time because he does not have any superpowers. Nothing's reduced on him. He doesn't. He just doesn't have superpowers. Fun fact too, he's also an Avenger, so it's kind of that little bittersweet. But he's a good character if you want to do that. But
Yeah.
let's get into it, man. Let's get to some characters. We kind of talked about it beforehand. The idea it's just kind of going to be a good stuff list. Like I said, there's so many characters that benefit from them, and the list overall, probably when it's done, if I had to guess, is going to be you can play a little bit of every strategy you want with all the good characters that you really want to play. Ooh, sorry about that. So the first thing we're going to do, as always, is we get to eliminate Dormammu because he has to be his own affiliation. He can't play under any other affiliation. And ironically, he would be phenomenal under Steve Rodgers' affiliation. But he's not, so we can't bring him, and we can kind of move on from there. That's the only real character that's going to be kind of auto-eliminated. We're not going to go... the Avengers are such a big affiliation. We're going to start with all the affiliated characters. And as you're going to see here, if you're watching on YouTube, and we're going to we'll probably go over all these characters, I think, rather some quicker than others. But there's a lot of characters in this affiliation. We have a lot to consider here. This is one of the affiliations that if you just want to play all Avengers, you very easily can. It is not, and you will probably have a very good roster when it's all said and done. They do so many good things. They have so many good models. I think if you just are that person who just only wants to play affiliated models, this is probably the affiliation for you for multiple reasons. They do have 3 leaderships as well as, I think it's over 30, I think it's 30-ish models if I remember right. So there's 28 models. 28 models in the affiliation. Yeah, I had to count because that's just how I operate. I need to know the answer to these things. So I'm in alphabetical order here. Mike, what's the first model you think we want to talk about here?
Probably Black Panther.
Yeah, I think Ant-Man, who's the first one on the list, I don't think he does a whole lot. He does have a decent tactics card. That's not going to be a problem in this affiliation. I actually wanted to bring up Beast real quick because I love the fact that this leadership makes his throw 1 power. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I just think that's great.
I forgot his throw was 2.
Yeah, it's 2 power, which it's like probably one of the better things about the card, but it's just like, but for 1 power, it feels real nice, real nice. But yeah, I think I agree. I just wanted to give that honorable mention out there. I like to do that, just for those that think we're just skipping over models. Like I said, we're out here, we're building a good stuff list, but it's, we're really looking at the better models in the game. Trying to make a tournament ready list for you guys if you want to pick up and just go to a tournament. But T'Challa is phenomenal. Absolutely, I think I said it last on another cast that may or may not be out yet. I think Black Panther is criminally underplayed. I think he is absolutely phenomenal. So
Yeah, his auto pushes and how sturdy he is, and deceptively fast.
yeah, oh yeah, that long movement is real good. But the key thing here, I think, is we can use Mantle of the Black Panther for 1 power every turn, which now makes him extremely. He's already sturdy and fast. Depending on how you want to play the game, he kind of fits that absolute utility role because now he can hit hard. Or you can pounce for 1 power, and now you're in a really good spot. But he's a 4 threat character. He's got 6 health on each side. Rolls 4/3/3 on defense. There's no. The only change on his backside is his vibrating armor, his damage, so you have to pay for it. However, it adds 2 dice, and it only costs 1 power under Steve. So yeah, I think Black Panther's a slam dunk as far as consideration. And the next here on the list are the 2 Black Widows. What do you think about the Black Widows?
I really enjoy the 2-cost Black Widow. I'm not a big fan of the 3-cost one.
Yeah, I'm big on 2-cost Black Widow. I bring her up a lot. I think stealth and martial artist is really good. Having Counter Strike on a long moving 2-threat character is really strong. So you think we consider the 2-threat Black Widow for the list?
Yeah, I do, just for list building. Like, it helps with making certain lists having an affiliation too.
Oh yeah. When you are one of the lists that get to play in affiliation too, it feels so good. It really does. Like, it just feels so nice to know that, like, you can just fix your math with a 2-threat character. I use my 2s a lot of time. Like, it's usually my 5th character, and I'm like, well, I really want to bring these 4/4s, but I'm at 18, and 2 of them aren't affiliated, and 2 of them are affiliated. And it's like, oh, well, then I get to bring, this 2-threat character, and now all of a sudden, I'm affiliated, and, like, no problems will be had. So, yeah, I agree, though, on the 3-point Black Widow. I think she's pretty underwhelming. I don't think she's terrible. I think you only really want to bring one, Natasha Romanoff, and you're probably the 2-threat's probably the better option, I think, if you want to bring one at all. So next we've got Blade and Cable are the next 2. How do you feel about either one of these characters?
I'm not too fond of either of them, to be honest. Not in Avengers.
Yeah, I think Cable more so than Blade, if you chose one. However, at 5 threat, I think we've got some better options at 5 threat. Once we kind of get down here, and then as well as other 5 threat characters just outside of affiliation. So what do you think about Sam under Steve Rodgers' leadership?
Honestly, I like him a lot. Being able to have a airlift for 1, or he can charge for 1.
Yeah,
either of those are both good options.
Yeah, I really like the fact that his main 2 superpowers that you're using, he's using on different turns. So when he's active versus when he's inactive, so you can kind of use both of them, which is really nice. Just to clarify, this list is built around specifically Steve Rodgers. There might end up being other leaderships that you could play, but we're trying to play specific around one leadership and not build around both, or however. I will have an episode coming in the future about building specifically around Sam Wilson's Captain America. So if that's what you're waiting for, drop a comment here on YouTube. Let us know. I can kind of prioritize that if that's the one you're looking for. The next model that comes on the list is Captain Marvel. I think Captain Marvel is really, really good under Steve Rogers. What do you think?
I do think she's really good. I hadn't on the list that I made. I hadn't included her mainly just because there's a lot of other
So
good
many
fours
options.
at the moment.
So many options. She does do a lot. She's got just and the main thing is just everything costing one less. She's one of those characters I think that like truly kind of gets better in this situation just because of that. Like you kind of look at binary form costing 4, Danvers special costing 3, which is what it should cost. Those like shouldn't be less. Um, but it's like it makes those really good when they're 3 and 2. Uh, so definitely a model if you're looking at the list and you got the core set. Captain Marvel fits in really good. Deadpool's next. I don't think he does a whole lot in this list. He's a cool character, but I think that's really about where it ends with Deadpool. Kind of unfortunately, slightly underwhelming as a character as well. The next one's probably, I would say, probably as close to a slam dunk as possible, and that's Doctor Voodoo.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. Dr. Voodoo's one of the best characters in the game. Everything he has costing 1 less. Fun fact, really good. Because everything he does is really good. So we don't have to spend too much time on Dr. Voodoo. If you've listened to any of my episodes, Dr. Voodoo gets brought up a lot, and he is phenomenal. I think we have a little string here where there's a decent amount of characters I think we consider. Hawkeye's next. What do you think about Hawkeye?
I've always liked Hawkeye. When I used to play Steve, I used to use him a lot, but just with all the other threes that have come out, he's kind of fallen to the wayside for me.
Yeah.
Being able to ignore stealth, great, but that one already cost 1, so Captain America doesn't really help with that. Hook error costing 1's nice, but he's, as I said, there's so many other threes that are real good.
That's always my thing with Hawkeye is like he does exactly what he's supposed to do, but if someone gets close to Hawkeye, Hawkeye dies. Like he does not have much survivability. He cannot really get away from the attack. He has 4 health on the front side and 5 on the back. 9 health is very, very low. It is well below average for 3-threat characters. It's closer to 2-threat characters, since if you want to look at Black Widow, she was 4 and 4 for 1 threat less, and has 1 health less. More attacks, more superpowers. I think Hawkeye definitely kind of falls apart from just being one of the earlier models released, and just kind of has, well, I guess he really wasn't super early, but kind of one of those models that came out early in the game's life and just kind of has fallen on the wayside because 3s are super powerful, especially the Avengers. The Avengers have so many good 3s, it's not even funny. So I've already pulled up the next model so everybody can look at it. I think this is kind of in the Dr. Voodoo camp of as close to a slam dunk as possible, and that's a good old Hulk.
Yeah, being able to throw a size 4 for 1 is ridiculous.
Yep. That's pretty good. I think the big thing that's not underutilized, but you really get to take full advantage of is the Hulk Not Puny banner for 3. Feels a lot better than 4. That 3 math kind of really helps out when you use that, and then if you can activate him, now you can throw for 1 power, so you've used 4 power, and now, because Hulk seems to always have close to 10 power, and now you can use, Hulk Smash and Strike, get your power back. Not a lot. We don't have to spend a lot of time on Hulk. He's, I think, pretty close to a slam dunk. What do you think about Hulkbuster? This is a model I've never really played. I've only ever played against him once.
Uh, I'm in the same camp as you. I'm not sure. I mean, he has a lot of good things, like hit and run for one's nice.
Mhm.
His throw gets down to two, but he's in the same threat level as Hulk, and he can't throw characters. His throw does cost one more still.
It makes me so mad that he can't throw characters. Drives me crazy. He came out in that time where like every character that was coming out couldn't throw characters, and it was like, oh, this is kind of infuriating because like why like we've seen Hulkbuster, like why can't he throw characters? This makes no sense. Um, I think my biggest argument against Hulkbuster is that there's another Tony Stark that I think is just better.
Yeah,
Uh,
the original Tony Stark is
and that
definitely better.
Yeah, and that is the next character we're going to look at. This three threat Iron Man, who rolls 4-3-3 defense, has 10 total health, has a three threat character, has Invincible Iron Man where he reduces damage, has the Friday AI for one power under Steve Rodgers. He can add 2 dice to his attack rolls. Um, yeah, I think he's a slam dunk, and I think he's almost an include in every list you're playing with Steve Rodgers. Like, I don't know. That's kind of the. I think he's part of kind of that core. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely do think he's core to Steve Rogers. He brings a little bit of control with his pushes. Friday AI being one is great, especially once he gets flipped, being able to the Friday AI that his unibeam. If you don't want to take Helios Laser, and when you're Captain America, you can always take. I cannot remember the name of that other tactics card.
There's Helios Laser, and then Ricochet Blast.
Yeah, Ricochet Blast
Ricochet
for a
Blast.
lot. It's a lot cheaper and
Yeah, I think he's just. Yeah, I think he's borderline phenomenal. Um, Now we kind of hit a stretch here where I don't know if we're really going to consider any of the next. Well, I like Luke Cage a lot. I'm a big Luke Cage guy. What do you think about Luke Cage?
I had Luke Cage on my list. Mainly, he does have heroes for hire, and um, he's too dangerous to ignore for one's nice, where you can kind of, if you're on a wider scenario, you can have protection on both sides. It's a worse version of Bodyguard, but it's not bad, especially not on Cage.
Yeah. Also, getting a character throw or a terrain throw for one power is nice little added fun. But he also has a throw on his spender. He's got stagger on his builder, and his spender auto gives slow and stun. So um, it's not like he's just doing one thing. He does a bunch of other stuff. So the next 4 models, I'm just going to ask you if you want to talk about any of them. We've got Miss Marvel, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and She-Hulk. Any of those tickle your fancy?
I actually do like Scarlet Witch uh, a good bit, but mainly for specific matchups
Yeah.
because you can her against Malekith gets interesting because he normally won't one shot her, and if he gets judgment, it's uh it's not a great day for him.
Yeah, I was glad you said something because I really like Scarlet Witch, but I feel like I'm slightly biased about it. So I don't always like to. I like to let the other person bring up my bias, like characters. So I like her. I'm gonna put her on the list for consideration. She's the in affiliation 5 that I think is the best. Um, and I think she kind of competes weirdly with a couple of the unaffiliated 5s that we'll get to shortly. But otherwise, where I think we're pretty well in agreement on Miss Marvel, Quicksilver, and She-Hulk that they're just not it.
Yeah, I don't look at any of those when trying to make a Steve list.
Yeah, I don't think they quite cut it. They do good things, but not quite. So the next one is Spider Woman, and I know you're a big Spider Woman fan. So is this a model you look at under Steve?
Uh, I'm not sure. I haven't really uh, looked at the Steve roster too much since she came out. I do like her. I liked her a lot in Hydra, but uh,
She kind of does the same stuff in Hydra, just cheaper, right? She gets a place for 1 power, so she can do that on turn one. It gives her a ton of flexibility to get all around the board. Um, and then interrogate for 2. It's pretty good.
yeah, I do like her, and she also has stealth and martial artists, which is nice. And then she has a little bit of scenario play, having people drop their objectives. So I have her on my list, but I don't know if she ends up making the 10 after everything.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's fine. We're like I said, we're still in the Avengers, and we've got 10 models, and we might get a couple more. I'm not sure how you feel about it. So Thor's the next model. Um, Thor is best under Steve Rogers. However, I don't know if he's good enough.
Honestly, I don't. I've never liked Thor.
Yeah, I think if you really want to play Thor, he fits in great with Steve Rogers, but like the rest of the internet, this Thor is underwhelming and we're not happy about it. We want a new one. Give us a better Thor. The next model that I personally think is a really good fit in this list with Steve Rogers is Vision. I really like Vision in this list with Steve Rogers, but I haven't played a lot of Steve Rogers myself, so I just I'm looking at it kind of on the outside looking in. So what do you think about Vision?
I like Vision a lot. He was the character I was thinking about when I said I didn't care for Captain Marvel in the list because, uh, again, his having a character throw that goes down to 1 is really nice, and I like a lot of characters with Steve that have defensive abilities because they come up more often.
Yeah, and
Like
being
every time he
able
gets
to
attacked, he can.
and being able to
Sorry, go
rapid
ahead.
phase for 1 power is so good.
Yeah,
For,
it really is.
yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Uh, uh, but it really is. I like because especially when 2 or 3 people can attack him with different ability with different attacks, and he's able just to switch back and forth every turn for 1
Yeah, it's
is
really
really
good.
nice.
Definitely helps. And his free attack is a beam 4 5 dice attack, which is really good. Fun fact for everyone who is curious about it. It's really good. Uh, but yeah, I'm a big fan. You get a throw for 1 power, and you'll hear that over and over from me. I'm a big fan, big fan. I love that. We'll always love that. So we'll go ahead and click him. And the last 3 are War Machine, Wasp, and Wolverine. Do you look at any of them when you're thinking about Steve?
Uh, no, I didn't. I know War Machine is pretty good, but I don't look at any of those 3
Yeah.
when making a Steve list.
Yeah, I think War Machine kind of it's a fun little. He fits the good old Avengers theme, but he doesn't really benefit from Steve in any kind of way. He has no superpowers. This model just attacks. That's it. That's all he does. He attacks. Nothing else. He just attacks. He attacks and moves. He can't really do anything else. He has no other. He has a damage reduction, so he doesn't get hurt as much. He only has 10 total health, but that's all this character does. He is a war machine. So that's it for the Avengers. We ended up with 11, so not terrible. I think we did a good job of kind of doing some fat thinning trying to get a little bit better at that. I know I always end up, for those who've listened to some of the others, we end up with a ton of models. We're trying to get a little bit more streamlined, cut some models before we put them on the list. So we'll start threat-wise, kind of at the top at 7. Are you thinking anything for? I guess the main thing is, how many of those do you think we just end up with one 6+ character?
Yeah, I'd say we probably only end up with one 6+ character.
Yeah, so we're looking at, we've got Malekith, Immortal Hulk, and then probably, I don't think there's another 6. I think it's just between those two and Hulk, right?
Yeah, unless you want to count a stone Thanos.
Yeah. I, I'm big on the Stone Thanos. Uh, as I bring up in most of these videos, I think he's really good and kind of has gotten forgotten about, which I'm fine with because I hate playing against Thanos. I hate it more than anything. Oh god, it's obnoxious. However, the stones do take your restricted card spots. Some of those cards are real nice to have. So, do you think we kind of consider any of those higher threat models, or do you think we just stick with good old Hulk 1?
Where we're only taking one model above 6 or above, I'd say just stick with the original Hulk. He's in affiliations, and I'm not sure if you can do much better than that for Captain America, for Steve.
Oh yeah, I'm adamant that he's one of the best models in the game. I think he's definitely a 1A up there, 2 possibly a 1B depending on how you look at it. But let's go to the 5 threats. I think the 5 threats get real interesting for him because I think all the 5 threats specifically get a lot better under Steve Rodgers.
Yep. I would agree with you.
So, are there any other 5 threats that you really look at and think about considering?
I'm not sure. I know there was 2 of them that I would put on my list, but mainly due to what they can do with turn 1 presence because of Steve.
Yeah. Who are you looking at?
The first one would be Ulick being able to crushing leap turn 1.
I had Ulick pulled up, so I had him pulled up. He's one of the ones that I think benefits a lot under Steve Rodgers.
Yeah, that or I had to double read his throw. It's only terrain.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still not bad, but if it was character, that'd be great for a turn 1 play as well.
Yeah. That's there's a 4 threat character we'll get into that benefits real well in that scenario. But who's the other one?
I think we might be. We were probably thinking about the same 4.
Yeah, probably.
The other one I was looking at was I had Angela on here.
Okay.
Again, this is a character I don't know if that makes it into my 10, but her not needing any help with her turn 1 extracts shenanigans, and then being able to have a terrain throw size 4 or less for 1 was mainly the reason why I was considering her.
Yeah. That's I'm cool with that. I like that. I like the extra power she gets. She prevents you from moving over her base, or not over her base. You can't place movement tools overlapping this character base, and you cannot re-roll or change dice when targeting this character with attack, which is really good. She's a little bit of a murder machine, and getting Angelic Assassin for 1 power definitely helps you to keep going when she's kind of on a little war path. But yeah, that terrain throw for 1 is super, super good. So yeah, I'm good with those 3 5s. I don't know. I think those are probably some of the better 5s. I also like Ghost Rider a lot with them, but that's just, again, a little personal preference. Juggernaut also feels really good under Steve. But I think we're fully utilizing the leadership with those. So I want to go. I skipped down to 2s and then go back to 4s and 3s, because there's a lot more 4s and 3s. So at 2 threat, we already have Black Widow that we're considering. So any of these other 8 that you consider?
I actually had two twos that I was considering. I wasn't sure. Again, this is another thing. I'm not sure if they hit the 10, but the first one I was looking at was Okoye, getting her bodyguard for 1. Uh, Again, if you get on a split scenario, you can have 2 good choices for bodyguard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think, and that was a big thing for a long time. Okoye, you played a ton of Okoye with Steve, and you couldn't hit anybody. Nobody got hit besides Okoye and Steve. Did you have another one, or was that just the one you had? I'm sorry.
I also had. Oh no, you're fine. I also had Toad, just for Toad's. Honestly, Toad's. I consider Toad probably one of the best twos in the game.
He gets a lot better when everything costs 1.
Yeah, Finders Keepers and his Hop for 1 are really nice.
Yeah, and being able to slippery for 1. After, if he survives an attack is also real good. Yeah, I think those are probably the best 3 to consider for what we're doing. The rest are just kind of, they all have their own goals. The 2s are really, really good in deep threat. So now we're in the 4s. I think there are a lot of 4s, unfortunately, that we consider.
Yeah.
So I guess we could just start here at the top of the list. The first one's Agent Venom. What do you think about Agent Venom?
I think he's a good fit. Again, having a character there that gets knocked down a power is great. Let's see here. I'm not too familiar with his other ones. I have to bring up his other.
So his other ability that would be effective his web swing, so he can place himself within 3 for 1 power. So on turn 1, he can place within 3.
Yeah, that's a real nice opener. Being able to place within 3, get a shot or 2 off, and then possibly interact with the objective that's not bad.
Yeah, medium base, place within 3, and then range 4 attacks is. He's probably getting 2 attacks off. I think he's really good. The next one's Ancient One. She does benefit, but I don't know if she's all that great. I'd rather get to the next one on the list, which is Beta Ray Bill, who I think is pretty phenomenal under Steve Rodgers.
Yeah, no, he made my list as well for a lot of the same reasons that I was talking about. Vision, just being able to have a throw that's less and fast forward terrain or character.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge positive. What's the next 4 you had? Because I think I skipped down pretty far on the 4s after Beta Ray Bill.
I had, I think gonna be some, but I ended up. My next one was Emma Frost.
Yeah, that's actually where I jumped all the way down there as well. That was the.
Yeah, her.
And to be fair, a lot of the ones in the middle were Avengers affiliated. We already went over them. So yeah, I also, So my theory with Emma is kind of where we're at is. If we don't end up with Scarlet Witch, then we won't have any mystic attacks, and I really like the idea of having some sort of mystic attacks. And having Shield Mine and Telekinetic Deflection for 1 power online is so amazing.
Yeah, especially where your more scenario focused characters want to be around Steve so that they don't end up getting shot themselves.
Yep.
So being able to keep them near him is great.
Yeah, I think she's really, really good, and she does have another side. I only ever flip to this side personally when she's going to die, and I just trying to save her. Um, Otherwise, she does get a. It's just a terrain throw, unfortunately, but it does reduce one. The main reason you're playing this model is for the shield mine and telekinetic deflection, outside of affiliation, obviously. But she also brings the mystic attacks, which is something we don't have a lot of at the moment. Um, so after that, where's your next model after that? I'm curious on where you're at here because I think a lot of these models after her on the list alphabetically, you could almost consider them depending on what you want to do. So I'm curious on where you ended up.
Yeah. The next one I ended up on is Logan, the Wolverine, mainly just because right now he's probably in competition for the best floor in the game.
Yeah, he's really good. That box has two really good four threat characters. Logan and Sabretooth are both phenomenal. I pull them up here. Healing Factor 2, you get access to what's that? Exceptional healing. He's a little bit of just a murder machine. He can move all around the board. I think he's really good. The next one I would look at is probably Medusa. I like Medusa's Royal Decree costing 1 and Hair Flip costing 2, even though it is enemy character, which is really nice. That's what you want. You want the character throws. If you're going to have one that's just one character or terrain, you want it to be just character. What do you feel about Medusa?
I like Medusa a lot. She brings a lot of scenario presence with her pushes. Again, having the character throw is great. And Royal Decree really helps out with turn 1 shenanigans or to help keep people safe or move someone back into Steve's bodyguard.
Yeah. Yep. I would agree. I think she's pretty good. So you think she's one we consider here?
Yeah, I'd consider her.
Yeah. So the next is where it gets. Oh god, where'd it go? There we go. Sorry, I started scrolling. I just wildly scroll. The next one I have is Sabretooth Apex Predator. Do you have anyone before that you want to look at?
I had one before that.
What's that? What's the one?
I had Psylocke.
Psylocke? Okay.
Again, she has her combat enhancement goes down to 1.
Yeah.
So it offers another turn 1 play that.
Yeah,
you can take advantage of.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it. I like that. I kind of forget about her, and actually, the more I think about it real quick, is honestly, under Steve, she feels like a 4-threat character, like a good 4-threat character. So yeah, I'm definitely
it helps
cool.
A lot. Yeah, I agree with that. It helps a lot that her on that combat enhancement, she doesn't have to make the katana attack immediately, so she can do that, move, and she can move again before she has to make that attack.
Yeah, and also, again, she brings a lot of variety of the attack. I think we have a lot of energy, but we definitely don't have the mystic, so she definitely brings the mystic that we might want by the time it's all said and done. Also, she has stealth and martial artist, which is really good. She is one of the characters, if you listen to our review on her, she's not really great in a vacuum, but under certain leadership, she can really be great. There's a couple little things and like tweaks, especially like everything costing 1 less, getting extra rerolls, stuff like that, makes her a really good character, or can make her a really good character. So yeah, I'm definitely down with her. So and then I guess next is Sabretooth Apex Predator. What do you think about Sabretooth? I know you're much more of a Logan guy, but what do you? I really like Sabretooth. Once you reduce all these from 3 to 2 and 4 to 3, I think he starts to feel really good. Or more good? I'm not going to say that. I think he starts to feel a whole lot better.
Yeah. I like him. I do think he's a great character. I'd never really thought about him outside of the affiliations he's in, but I definitely think that Steve makes him a lot better. Having to read some of his superpowers.
Yeah, so he's got Catch Runt that would cost 2. You can choose an enemy character within 2 and throw it medium. It has Primal Pounce where he can throw himself medium. And he doesn't suffer damage if he collides with a character. And then Stop Squealing and Die. The next attack that he makes, he adds 3 dice to this attack roll, and he has Healing Factor 1. Yeah, I definitely like Catch Runt, and Primal Pounce for 2. Yeah, that's really, I think, where you're looking at. The Stop Squealing and Die just becomes when you can spend 5 power to roll 9 dice with Pierce and Bleed on like Bloodthirsty Onslaught, or just pay 3 power to roll 8 dice with Pierce and Bleed. It starts to feel really good. He does have the place on Bloodthirsty Onslaught. I think, but having Catch Runt and Primal Pounce for a total where you can spend a 5 power turn, or just 2 if you only need to do 1, where you can stay on the point, or just throw yourself to move yourself onto a point. He's got a lot. He's there with Logan with a lot of movement shenanigans. I think it's pretty good. Do you think it's someone we end up considering? Again, we're just trying to build a list of models we're considering. We're not going to keep all these models on the list, obviously.
I definitely would consider him. I had to read Catch Runt because I couldn't remember if it was a character throw. But where it's a character throw, I definitely.
He gets the. He definitely gets that. He throws himself and he has a character throw. That's why that's right up my alley. It's like, wait, I can move myself or move you. I'm in. Do you have any other 4s that you want to talk about?
No, I didn't have any other 4s.
Yeah, I think the only other one that you would possibly look at is Venom. Getting his throw for 2, web snare for 1, and so many snacks for 1 definitely feels really good. I think we have a lot of characters that are doing similar things, so I'm not sure he ends up making the list. But what do you think about Venom? He's the only other 4 I wanted to talk about. I think there wasn't really another one that I wanted to talk about.
So I've always liked Venom a lot. I'd never say no to adding original Venom into any list.
I feel that. I definitely feel that.
So that one's up to you.
Yeah, let's throw him in there. I think it's hard not to. I think when you're in a good stuff list, I think we can just kind of. There's a certain type of models we kind of just add all of them. Like I said, we're gonna hyper kind of eliminate some sooner rather than later. So 3s are last. Who's the first 3 you want to talk about?
All right, my 3s are not in ABC order. All right. So the first 3 I had was Baron Mordo.
Yep, I like Baron Mordo. He kind of definitely shines in this affiliation. Just everything costing 1 ends up feeling really, really good. So I think we're in agreement on him. I think we can click on him. I brought him up for everybody to look at. Soul Barb being able to cost 1. We have a lot of characters that give out conditions, so now we can kind of spread those conditions. adding dice to our attacks with ferocity of Sidorak, and also being able to, if he does get pushed, being able to get back into position for 1 power is really good. He's also on a medium base, which also feels really good. He can kind of give himself. He can get 3 power returned, and kind of make sure he has everything online as soon as turn 1, which is really, 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 really strong. Let's see. Who do you got next?
The next character I had was Ghost Spider.
Ghost Spider. Ooh. You skipped down a lot. Let's see if I had anybody in before that. I had one. I had Black Cat before that. That's the only character I had before that. Being able to steal an asset.
Oh, I had Black Cat. Yeah.
Yeah, grappling hook for 1, master cat burglar for 2 is pretty strong. We can go ahead. We both agree on that, so we can kind of put her in there. She's really good, guys. Fun fact.
I saw the A with the circle and didn't differentiate that it wasn't colored in. So I saw her as an affiliated character for some reason.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, yeah, they definitely, all the A affiliations having essentially the exact same logo can be kind of annoying. But yeah, I love Ghost Spider. I love this character. So, Lifesaver and Webline for 1 power each is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I definitely like Lifesaver for 1.
Yeah, just all the extra movement shenanigans are real good. Yeah, I'm definitely cool with considering her.
Yeah, all the trouble she has in Web Warriors about just not having enough power. I think she still does great there, but yeah, Lifesaver becoming 1 just kind of fixes most of everything that she really wanted.
Yeah, we solve her issues and make her an elite level 3 versus the good 3 that she is. Let's see. I might not have somebody else for a while. I think most of the 3s end up being the affiliated 3s. What's the next 3 that you had?
I had 1 kind of close, and then I skipped down into the P's. I had Heimdall.
Heimdall? I like Heimdall. Heimdall's... He does a lot of good things. And again, one of those things where once everything... Being able to Guardian of the Bifrost on turn 1 is really, really good.
Yeah.
And then All-Seeing Eyes for 1 and Forfin for 1 are really, really good.
Yeah, it allows for dice fixing, and unlike all the other, like Shuri or Sentinel Prime, Captain America can affect this one.
Yeah, exactly. I like it. I kind of forget about him because, and I own him, which is bad, but I don't build him because he's not an easy model to build, so he kind of sits in a box, unfortunately, because of who I am as a person.
He's one of the models I do need to pick up. I've always liked him a lot, but
yeah, I like that
box.
I like the box too. I think Scourge is pretty good too. In a lot of situations, he's got a decent tactics card. I really like him with Enchantress. I wish the big thing for Scourge is I just wish he had a character throw instead of just terrain.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, he has the bodyguard. He's got like the bad bodyguard, which is really the only bodyguard we get anymore. He has bodyguard and aggressive, which are 2 really good things. But you skip down to the P's. I also skipped down to the P's. Did we skip down to the same P is the question.
Oh, probably. The next character I had was Pyro.
Yep, I've already got him pulled up on the screen, so I'm doing something right over here. Yeah, just one of the things with him, it feels like, is that you want to spend his power a lot. So just being able to make everything cheaper and being able to root slow multiple characters once the first one costs 1 is real nice.
Yeah, Firewall for 1 is stupid.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And we're giving out the incinerates really makes some of the other characters just kind of smack really hard. Um, all right, so then we've got the last little third here of threes. I'm just looking through. I'm not sure. I'm really considering many of them. What other threes do you have here?
I only had two more. The first one was Valkyrie.
Okay, I do love me some Valkyrie.
Mainly just because it turns back on her turn one
Sure.
double move and throw off a point.
Yeah, getting that definitely is nice. Being able to Asgardian Might, as well as having access to her charge on turn one, and actually keeping power, which is nice. The build up for that second turn Dragon Fang is really, really good. Warrior Legend for one, also really good. Yeah, I think Valkyrie's really good. I kind of forgot about her, to be honest. I was looking at like all the new weird characters down here, like Super Giant and Winter Soldier, which is another one that I have a feeling that's probably your last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't find Super Giant now. Super Giant's so underwhelming. She's such an underwhelming character.
Yeah, she's just someone that I've never had any interest in trying to figure out.
I thought she was bad from the day she was released, and I don't think I would love to see someone do something with her, but I think I'm with you here that the last one we really consider is old Mr. James Bucky Barnes here, Winter Soldier. He's just a great overall utility piece. Got your back for 2 is really good. Hydra Tactics for 1 is really good. He counts towards your affiliated characters during squad building. And if something has went really wrong and he's within 1, he can reroll a die. Not really what he wants to be doing. He's mostly staying us pretty far away. He's got that range 5 rapid fire attack, so.
So, you saying got your back for 2 got me thinking about.
Yeah, I was getting ready to bring them up.
Got your back for 1.
Yeah, I was getting ready to bring that up. I thought you might bring them up. Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about the Howling Commandos? Honestly, I kind of thought you would bring them up, and I know you're a big Howling Commandos fan, so.
Honestly, I don't know why, but I kind of forgot about them in this list.
Because Sibling and Arms also for 1 is pretty nice.
Yeah, them having essentially Royal Decree and got your back for 1 and Incinerate on a stick.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's. Also, didn't really talk about Mystique either. Kind of skipped over her. Expert Sabotage for 2 is real nice. But I'm not sure she ends up making it, but that's a real nice ability to have for 2 power. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw Howling Commandos in there because I think they're really, really good, and we should probably look at it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure how I even missed them.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about them when I was going through, but I think it was mostly because I assumed you were going to bring them up. I just kind of was like, yeah, he'll do it. So we ended up with 31 characters here. Just a quick recap. We have Captain America, Black Panther, Black Widow, 2-threat, Sam Wilson, Captain America, Voodoo, Hulk, Iron Man, Luke Cage, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Woman, Vision, Ulick, Angela, Okoye, Toad, Agent Venom, Beta Ray Bill, Emma Frost, Logan the Wolverine, Medusa, Psylocke, Sabretooth, Apex Predator, Venom, then Baron Mordo, Black Cat, Ghost Spider, Heimdall, Pyro, Valkyrie, Winter Soldier, and Nick Fury, and the Howling Commandos. Let's start here in the 5 threats. I think we probably end up with 1 5, or are you thinking maybe 2 5s?
Seeing as I'm sure Hulk's in the list, probably just the 1 5.
Yeah. I think Hulk's a slam dunk. I just kind of assumed he was going to stay in. I don't think he gets cut. So we got Scarlet Witch, Ulick, and Angela. Who are you leaning towards the most?
I'm not sure. It's between Scarlet Witch and Ulick.
Oh,
I just don't think that Angela brings as much as the other two, so I feel like she's an easy one to cut.
all right. We can drop her, and we can come back to the fives. Um, let's look at the twos. How many twos are you thinking we end up taking? Just one, or you thinking? I don't think we'll have room for a second one. I think that
Yeah,
might be a problem we run into.
I think it's just the one.
So we got Toad, Okoye, and Black Widow. Which way are you leaning right now?
Honestly, I'm leaning towards Black Widow. She's affiliated, uh,
Yeah,
and
that's what I was gonna
she
say.
has a lot of superpowers.
I really like the affiliated two. Being able to counter strike for one is and having stealth and martial artists. Long movers can get around the board. Um, I like the affiliated two a lot. I think that's. I don't think we're gonna need what Okoye brings as much. We have it with Steve, and we've got some other models that we're considering that have that effect. I think it really comes down to her or Toad, and I just think it's that affiliation that really helps. Just in case we don't end up with a ton of affiliated characters. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop both of the twos. Um, let's see. Let's start. Let's start just where we ended up at the threes here. We got Mordo, Black Cat, Ghost Spider, Heimdall, Pyro, Valkyrie, Winter Soldier, and Nick Fury, the Howling Commandos. Um, what are you thinking on the threes, the unaffiliated threes?
The one that stands out to me the most is probably Pyro.
As someone we would keep versus the rest of them?
Yeah. There's we can definitely keep a few of the other ones, but the one that stands out to me that I'd want to. He's just so good, especially against in the meta right now. He can you root and slow Malekith or another one or Thanos or any one of the high threat characters, and they're having a real bad day.
So I eliminated it down on my side to Black Cat, Pyro, Winter Soldier, and Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos as the unaffiliated threes that we have. Considering.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think they kind of each do specific things that we don't have a lot of. It's not like something we have elsewhere. Um, I don't think we're going to need Black Cat's effect. I think we have enough of other things that we're not really going to need her ability. I don't think.
Yeah,
and I don't think we're playing. We're probably not going to play. What's that? The needle one, the extract, deadly legacy viruses. I think if you end up with deadly legacy, you have to play Black Cat. I don't think we end up with that, so I think we're probably good with getting rid of her and just kind of keeping the Pyro, Winter Soldier, Nick Fury, and then kind of looking at, and we can kind of eliminate the other threes after we do the fours here.
yeah,
I think
definitely agree, especially.
Go ahead.
Especially with like if we really need someone, like if we really need to drop an extract off somebody, we can just use Pyro's card.
Yep. Yeah, I think we ended up with 3 affiliated threes, which were Iron Man, Sam Wilson, and Luke Cage. So, like, I think the threes, I think that's going to be a tough 6 to kind of eliminate. And I think I have a hot take for it, and I'm not sure how that's going to work out. So we'll see when we get there. I think the fours.
Yeah.
I think the fours are the hardest part here.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. On the threes, yeah, I have one character. One affiliated character. I'd probably drop.
See, I'm looking at only keeping one affiliated character at 3.
I could definitely drop 2, but I do see one immediately. I'd probably just don't think I need.
Yeah, I think the threes, but I think having Captain America, Black Panther, and Voodoo affiliated at 4, and Spider Woman at 4, and Vision at 4. I'm kind of on that boat of I think we end up with a lot of if we our unaffiliated characters being at that 3 threat and our 4s being kind of affiliated. However, I don't like the idea of removing some of these 4s because I think the 4s are absolutely stacked.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be hard.
Yeah, like I mean, just kind of so at 4 we have the aforementioned, and then we have Agent Venom, Beta Ray Bill, Emma, Logan, Medusa, Psylocke, Sabretooth, and Venom. Um, I think we can kind of drop Venom, Psylocke, Medusa pretty quick.
Yeah, especially if we're uh, thinking about keeping Nick Fury Senior, because one of the main reasons we're bringing Medusa, he can do anyway.
Yeah, I think if that's more in the cards, then I think yeah, I agree with that 100%. So then we've got Sabretooth, Logan, Emma, Beta Ray Bill, and Agent Venom. We're not going to take both Logan and Sabretooth. I think you lean a little bit more towards Logan, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think he's really good. The main thing was I think Sabretooth technically benefits from the leadership a little bit better, but Logan, they're both absolutely crazy good characters.
Yeah, they are. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't keep either.
Yeah, yeah. I again with the amount of affiliated 4s, it's going to be. I mean, we've got to make choices. Are you think you're good with just dropping both of them at this point?
Yeah, I'd be comfortable to drop both.
Okay. Yeah, because it's one of those if those are characters you want to play, guys, they're both phenomenal. If you spent that $100 and you want to play those models, but you just have that and like the core set, they both work really well with Steve Rodgers. Play them. You aren't downgrading your roster. They're both really really good models. Um, so then we've got Agent Venom, Beta Ray Bill, Emma, and then Vision, Spider Woman, Voodoo, Panther, and Steve. I mean, is there a scenario where we're ever cutting Voodoo, Black Panther?
Uh, Honestly, a lot of times when I build Avengers, I end up cutting Black Panther. I hate doing it, but a lot of
Yeah.
times I have done it. Um,
Especially, I mean, to be fair, with the unaffiliated 4s and Spider Woman, um, I can see it. I think Voodoo's a lock personally, um,
yeah,
but I can definitely see it. Um, Captain America's also a 4, obviously Steve Rogers. We're not cutting him. Fun fact, it would kind of ruin the video. Um, so I think it's I can see it. I think we kind of have to look at that before we kind of look at the other 4s, and then Vision. I keep excluding Vision. Um, I think we probably have to cut at least one of those 3 between Spider Woman, Vision, and Black Panther.
yeah. So a lot of times when I look at making the Steve list, Vision and Black Panther are somewhat similar with their displacement. They're both really tough to get off the board, and uh, personally, I just liked Vision better, so I ended up normally dropping Black Panther.
Yeah, and I think Vision benefits a little bit more from the leadership. And I think we kind of have like what Black Panther is also really good at is kind of that scenario play. I don't think we're gonna have too much issues with that because I'm actually the more I keep looking at Spider Man or Spider Woman is I love the way she plays under Steve Rogers.
Uh,
Like I really do, and I've not been a big fan. I'm not a huge fan of her like some people are. I love the martial artist stealth combination. I like it. I mean, interrogate for 2, and I don't fly. I glide for 1. Feels really good. Uh, so, so now we're at those. We've got those 3, or I guess we have 4 currently in affiliation, 4 threats, and then Agent Venom, Beta Ray Bill, and Emma Frost. Do you want to come back to them, or is there one of those that
it's up
you're
to you.
we've got 7 left to cut, so we've still got a little bit of work to do. Let's make a decision on the 5s. Ulick or Scarlet Witch? Where are you leaning?
Uh,
Because I think I'm on the team that if we keep Scarlet Witch, we drop Emma Frost. But if we drop Scarlet Witch, I think we're almost having to keep Emma Frost.
yeah, I think you're right about that. The main thing, one of the main things for Scarlet Witch for me is no more mutants.
Yeah, it's so good.
Being able to turn off a superpower for a turn is nice. Uh, I think I'd keep Scarlet Witch over Ulick.
Okay. All right, like I said, I'm one of those. For me, is kind of flipping a coin. I think they both benefit really well, and her being affiliated also helps. I like having we'll now have an affiliated 5 and 6, which really helps in roster construction. So at that point, are we cutting Emma Frost then, or you want to kind of keep her in consideration?
I think we can cut him across.
Okay. All right, so we're slow. All right, let's get to the 3s here. So we've got Sam, Iron Man, Luke Cage in affiliation, and then Pyro, Winter Soldier, Nick Fury Sr. What are you thinking about the 3s? I think we got to cut at least 2 of them.
Yeah, I would agree. My easiest cut is Sam.
Yeah, I was kind of with you. I was kind of there with that. Sam's great, but we're not playing his leadership in this list. I think he's definitely a lot better when he's the leader versus when he's tagging along. The next one is kind of tough because it's probably between like Luke Cage and then one of the Winter Soldier and Nick Fury.
Yeah, I was thinking between Luke Cage and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, because I think we want. I think I'm with you. I think I really like Pyro on the list, and I don't think there's a world where we drop Iron Man. And I want one. I think I want one of Winter Soldier and Nick Fury.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I lean I lean Nick Fury mainly where to keep just where he also has Medusa's ability as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd have to double check, but I think if you move forward and port Hulk, I think that might put Hulk on the midline.
With the siblings in arms.
Yeah, because you're range 2 away from Hulk's big base, and you can place him within 1 of the medium base of Nick Fury. I think that puts him on the midline. I'd have to double check, but if it doesn't, it's damn close.
You would definitely be contesting the midline point. Like, there's no world that if you're 2 away from Hulk at the very front, that you can't port him and get him to where he's contesting with that large base. 100% he'll be contesting. Will he be, like, dead center with the midline? But he'll definitely be contesting those midline objectives. Which puts him in a really good spot. Yeah, I really like Nick Fury. I'd almost be looking at actually cutting Luke Cage and keeping Iron Man and the 3 of them.
Yeah, I guess that's where we differ a little bit because I almost make it easier for me to cut Winter Soldier at this point.
I don't have a problem with that. I guess the thing is where they're both technically affiliated. Yeah, I don't have a problem. I'm a big Luke Cage fan. So I'm not hard to... I know a lot of people would just prefer Winter Soldier. I love Luke Cage. I also like having a second effect like the Bodyguard. Plus the great tactics card that we get with him. Yeah, so I'm very much okay with that. Is the tactics is the what is the captain and Winter Soldier, is that tactics card good?
Back to back, I have never used it. I'd have to double check on its wording.
Till the end of the line, when they both can spend 2 power to play the card while within 1 of each other this round. These characters cannot be moved by enemy effects and combine their defensive values when creating the defense dice pool when defending against. I mean, it's a good card, but I don't think it's worth necessarily keeping in the roster for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with cutting.
I like it better with Sam.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with cutting Winter Soldier. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. So we've got essentially 3 characters left to cut. We've got 4 threes, a 6 and 5, and then right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fours. So we either have to cut 3 fours out of Beta Ray Bill, Agent Venom, Vision, Spider Woman, and Dr. Voodoo, or we cut another 3. Or I don't like this.
Can you go over the list you have?
Yeah. I've got Steve Rodgers, Captain America, 2-threat Black Widow, Dr. Voodoo, Hulk, Iron Man, 3-threat, Luke Cage, Scarlet Witch, Spider Woman, Vision, Agent Venom, Beta Ray Bill, Pyro, and then Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos.
Okay, I forgot to pull out Black Panther. I remember us talking about it, but I wasn't sure if we had landed on pulling him out or not.
I kind of just do stuff sometimes. We might not have necessarily.
I'm fine with that. Like I said, I like Vision more than Black Panther, and they perform a similar role in my mind. So
yeah, I think
I'm definitely fine with dropping Black Panther.
So I want to bring up something real quick. Do we keep an extra 4 over? Do we keep an extra 4 over Scarlet Witch? And just not have a 5. I just really like these 4s, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to cut 3 of them between Voodoo, because it'd be cutting 3 of Voodoo, Spider-Woman, Vision, Agent Venom, and Beta Ray Bill. I just don't know how I cut 3 of them and only keep 2 of them. So what do you think about that?
I'm not sure. Let's narrow it. Let's try to get 2 of them cut, and then we'll maybe revisit and see which one.
Yeah, that's fine. So we got Beta Ray Bill, Agent Venom, Vision, Spider Woman. I don't think we cut Voodoo, right? Like, we're probably gonna keep Voodoo.
Nah.
All right, so we're looking at those 4 between Spider Woman, Vision, Agent Venom, and Beta Ray Bill. I don't like it, but I think it might be Beta Ray Bill, and I don't know how I feel about that at all.
Yeah, I do think that Beta Ray Bill is one of them I was looking at about dropping.
I mean, he's phenomenal, but he does benefit the least from Steve Rodgers. I mean, he's great. All these characters are great. I was kind of looking at him and Spider Woman, even though I keep really loving Spider Woman.
Yeah, those 2 are definitely easy for me to cut as well. I do like both of them, but where we already have Pyro, probably his card, and Dr. Voodoo, I'm not sure that we need Spider-Woman's extra dropping, and her I Don't Fly is real similar to Agent Venom's Web Swing.
Yeah, I mean, the Web Swing's just better, right? Because it's within range 3 versus 2 for the same amount of power. Yeah, I think she does a lot of cool things, and if I get that box, I might play her in my list. But I think, I would just play Agent Venom because Agent Venom's also in that box. I forgot about that. Yeah, so now we're looking at Voodoo, Vision, Agent Venom, and Scarlet Witch, and I think we got to cut one of them. Or I don't like cutting a 3. I did bring that up. I don't think we don't cut Steve, we don't cut Voodoo, we don't cut Black Widow, we don't cut Hulk or Iron Man. That's 5. I don't like going below 4 3s in this list. Um, and right now, that's where we're at with Iron Man, Luke Cage, Pyro, and Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos. So I'm kind of in that weird spot of on this last cut. I don't know what the correct choice is, and I don't know where I would personally land. What are you thinking?
Uh, yeah, I don't want to drop a three. Honestly, for me, it's between Scarlet Witch and Agent Venom.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that's kind of where I was at. Um, and I don't know. I don't know. I like the terrain. I like that his throw is terrain or character. And I like that he's got the movement shenanigans. I like that he can remove special conditions. I like a lot of what he does on the same health pool as Scarlet Witch. But Scarlet Witch does a lot of great things. She has the mystic attacks. She has Curse, which gives out Judgment, which we've talked about is so very good. She's got a terrain throw. She's doing a lot of really good things. Yeah, I don't know which one's correct there, to be honest. I'm gonna leave that one up to you. That's your choice. You get a.
Mm, uh, for me, I'd have to drop Agent Venom. Just again, Scarlet Witch is she has good tech in the Malekith. Being able to turn off a superpower for like Thanos, Malekith, or
Yeah, there's
some of the
definitely
other
going to be a lot of
characters.
there's going to be a lot of Malekith going forward. I don't think that's changing anytime soon.
Yeah, especially not with Alex Box's cat dog list. I've seen a bunch of people picking that up.
Yeah, that's going to be around for sure. So yeah, I'm good with that. So we've got settled in here. At 10, we've got Captain America Steve Rogers, Two Threat Black Widow, Doctor Voodoo, Hulk, Iron Man, Luke Cage, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Pyro, and then Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos. How do you feel about that list?
No, sorry, I was yawning.
You're fine.
I feel good about it.
We record well laid plans late, guys, so you're gonna hear some yawns. It's gonna happen. We're old men. We're tired.
Yeah, definitely an old man now.
Yeah, feels. I actually really like where this ended up. It, there's some characters that I didn't think about that end up making it that I really like, and I really like where it kind of ended up here. I think we've got a really good spread. We've got 3 4s, 4 3s, a 2, a 6, and a 5. I think that's a really good spread. I think we're not going to have any issue when we're looking at overall rosters, like threat values, which we'll get into shortly. Do you want to do tactics first, or do you want to go to crisis?
Let's do tactics. I'm not. I have the hardest time picking crisis.
Crisis?
For any lists.
That's fair. All right, let's look at. So we've got a lot of characters here that have tactics cards. So let's go. Let's get the Steve ones first, since he's our leader. Which I typed in Steve because I'm special. So we've got Ricochet Blast. We can play that, and then we did not keep that, so that's the only one of his that we can play. Who else did we have? Who was next? Black Widow. We're not going to play any of her cards. Voodoo. Do we consider Seance?
Honestly, I've never really liked that card.
I'm also not a huge fan of it. Brad really likes it. Brad thinks it's really good. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's fine. I think we're not going to have trouble filling out tactics cards in this list. So, what did I do? Oh, I hit the wrong button. That's what I did. Whoopsie. Then Hulk's the next character. Do we looking at Gamma launch?
Sorry, I'm having to to reread that one. I'm not too familiar with Game of Launch.
Oh, you're fine. So during Hulk's activation, if he is within 2 of another allied character that's not holding a asset or civilian token, he can spend 3, and then you place that character within 5 of its current position.
I don't think I would take it.
Yeah, again, I don't think we're going to have much trouble filling out it, so I think we can be a little picky. The next one is Helios Laser. We're going to consider Helios Laser. And then the next one's Heroes for Hire. I think we also are going to consider Heroes for Hire. If not, take it. And then Scarlet Witch is next on the list of characters. So let's go to required characters. If I can type. So Scarlet Witch has 2 cards that we can consider. Let's look at the Whims of Chaos. It's the worst of the 2. She can spend any amount of power to play the card. Choose 1 non-dazed character within 3 for each power spent. Each chosen allied character may remove 1 damage or 1 special condition. Each chosen enemy character gains 1 of the following special conditions: Hex, Root, or Incinerate. So you can pick any number of characters within 3 of her, and then either remove a damage or a special condition, or give them a special condition. And there's 3 really good special conditions to give out. So what do you think about the Whims of Chaos?
I've always liked the card. I don't think I've ever used it when I'm playing her.
It feels really situational.
Yeah. Yeah, and the healing ability just seems like it's real similar to it's the Avengers card. I can't remember which one it's called. Not a symbol, but
yeah, I know which one. We'll get to the. I'll pull up those next after.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I wouldn't take the Whims of Chaos.
Yeah, No More Mutants is the one you're probably going to bring for Scarlet Witch. When an enemy character within 5 of an ally spends 1 or more power to use a static or reactive superpower, she can pay 3 to play the card. The enemy superpower has no effect and cannot be used again for the rest of this turn, but the enemy character still spends the power. The cost of that superpower is considered to have used the superpower. It's good. It's really good. Did Nick Fury have? Do they have a tactics card?
Not that I'm aware of.
Alright, the only character left that has a tactics card, then I'll double check on them, is Pyrotechnics. For Pyro, we're going to play Pyrotechnics. I pulled it up on the screen here. You guys can read it. It's really good. You can spend X power to play the card. For each power spent, choose an enemy character with Incinerate. Special condition within 3. They drop their objective token and are pushed away from Pyro. It's a great card. It's a really good card. Okay, so I need to do Nick. See if Nick Fury. I don't believe they had one. Oh, they do Infiltration.
Oh yeah.
And Over the Top. I forgot about both of those. I don't think we play Over the Top. I don't think we play Infiltration either. Right.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on those.
And this Fire Squad do not deploy. Yeah, I don't like the idea of not deploying a character at the beginning. It just seems like they were trying to be a little too much 40k with that, and I'm not really sure that's all that great. All right. So then we have for Avengers, we have 3 tactics cards. That's Anger Management, Avengers Assemble, and Second Wind. Anger Management is a Hulk card. Any non-Hulk Avenger character within 3 of an allied Hulk may spend 5 to play this card. He suffers damage equal to the power spent and gains that much power. I don't think we want to hurt our own Hulk.
Nah, I'm alright on that card.
Yeah, I think we do play Avengers Assemble, and I think Second Wind's also pretty good. Any number of allied characters may play 1 to spend this card. This is the card you were alluding to. I think this is the better of those 2. Any number of allied Avengers characters may spend 1 to play this card. Characters that spent power remove stun and a damage. There's a lot more stun in the game now than there used to be. Um,
Yeah.
so I think this is
Yeah.
probably a pretty good card to look at.
Yeah, I've always liked second win, especially with cubes.
Yep. So next we need to find 2 restricted cards.
Yeah.
What are the restricted cards that you're looking at?
There's 4 that uh, that I'd be interested in. Um, I guess 3 because I think I would take Indomitable over Brace just to try to keep people where we have so many reactions that want to be within 2 or within a certain range of another character. So I guess
I,
just 3.
I'm an
Indomitable.
I'm an Indomitable over Brace guy personally myself. I like the fact that I'll pay 1 extra power to not be move or thrown. I'm cool with that. I like that a lot, so I'm definitely good with that.
Okay, yeah, the theory I was looking at is Indomitable, Patch Up, and Sacrifice.
So with
And honestly,
Heroes for Hire, do we need Sacrifice?
No, I was saying honestly with where we have Hulk, I would rather have Patch Up.
Yeah, I'm a big Patch Up guy, so Indomitable and Patch Up are the 2 that are really hard for me not to play in literally every list. There are a couple of specialty lists that you're going to come up with that aren't. But right now, we are at Ricochet Blast, Helios Laser Bombardment, Heroes for Hire, No More Mutants, Pyrotechnics, Avengers Assemble, Second Wind, Indomitable, and Patch Up. That's 9, so we have 1 spot left. Are there some just normal cards that you really like to consider? I know you're a big Recalibration Matrix fan. Do you like that in this list?
I do like your calibration matrix, but I don't know where we only have the 1 spot left. It's hard for me to not take fallback.
Yeah.
I just don't think recalibration does as much as fallback. Now, there's a few other ones I could look at, just because I'm not. I need to look at how the team interacts. I don't think we need. But yeah, recalibration I could cross out pretty easily, and
yeah, some of the big 3 that I always look at, or at least the big 2. When I look at those cards that aren't affiliated, there's 3 of them that I always look at. That's Mark for Death, Fallback, and Mission Objective. I'm not sure we need Mission Objective or Mark for Death, so I think I'm with you on Fallback. I think Fallback fits the list really well.
Yeah, I was just trying to look at how many actual guns we had for Mark for Death. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we need Mark for Death because Hulk can probably chase down.
Yeah, Hulk's going to chase down stuff, and with Nick Fury being able to place him before he activates, we can find a way to get to that character. I think if we're in that kind of that situation. Plus, most of our characters are we don't have anyone that's moving slow. We're gonna get around the board.
Yeah, and there's 1 more I was looking at, but that's one I needed to look at the characters to see if anyone actually could use it.
Yeah, what do you think? Which
would be Eyes on the Prize.
Eyes on the Prize is really good. I forget about that card all the time. Like, I feel bad that I forget about that all the time. I clicked on the wrong one. Mainly because I own that box and haven't opened it, so that's probably why I forget about it all the time. For those not familiar, Eyes on the Prize is at the start of any allied character's activation. It can spend 1 power to play the card, and then it can interact with objectives at 2 instead of 1. So it's basically the prehensile tongue from Toad on a card.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think the only person we have that could really use it is Hulk, because we ended up dropping Bill, and I think there's 2 others that could have used it real well. So I don't think we need Eyes on the Prize either.
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially I think with keeping Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos again being able to move Hulk around, um, it was kind of going to solve that problem of him not being able to get to places. I think we can get him pretty much anywhere we want him.
I think, yeah, I think fallback would be our
You like that? You like that 10 here? So we got Ricochet Blast, Helios Laser Bombardment, Heroes for Hire, No More Mutants, Pyrotechnics, Avengers Assemble, Second Wind, Indomitable, Patch Up, and Fallback.
yeah, yeah, I like that a lot.
Okay, yeah, I'm a big fan too. So all right, now we go to the fun part. We're gonna go to the secures. Well, a crisis. Let's start with extracts. I always find extracts a little bit easier than secures. Um,
Okay.
so I think there's one that I think we like playing. That's Fear Grips. I think this is definitely a list that wants to play hammers. Um, do you have any objection with hammers?
No, no, I don't have any objections with hammers. They have at least 5 characters that would enjoy having a hammer. It's one of those that we can pile them all on top of Hulk if we really want to.
Yeah. And we have someone who can just and we kind of one of those. We've got characters that are going to take advantage of the hammers, but we also have characters that are going to be protected against the hammers if they do get a couple of them that aren't. We've got a lot of characters that aren't going to die very easily, so uh, some pretty big positives there. So what would be an extract that you'd be looking at for this list that you like?
Uh, I'd probably go with cubes, mainly where we have second wind, and it's like hammers. Uh, if we because we do have the option to go tall, we can do 3 at 15 if we wanted to, and those are we can so that way if we go tall, we can still hold as many. Uh, we can hold all of them if we really wanted to, since they're not limited to one per person.
Yeah, yeah, I'm cool. The cubes is one I was looking at. The other one I was kind of looking at was I keep looking at mutant extremists, and I'm not really sure that's really where I want to be. Um,
Um,
paranoid.
Another one actually, I was, yeah, that's the one I was kind of looking at because it's interesting with Steve, where people want to be within Steve anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm cool with Paranoid. I like some of the new ones. I think we can take advantage of it. But it also, Paranoia sets up really well for Vision, having that beam attack. Um, if they're trying to stay within each other, being able to set up that beam attack could be really, really positive for us.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Vision or Pyro or Hulk.
Yeah. And then the Helios laser attack also. Getting that little spread damage at the end will also be useful because they're going to be so close to each other. Secures, I think, are a little bit tougher. So we ended up here with Paranoia, Struggle, and Fear Grips. I think it's a good little selection. Keeps us in that 16, 17, 18 range. I think Secures are a little bit more interesting. Do we want to play Gamma?
I mean, that's another one we can take advantage of with the beams. Um, and honestly, I don't hate Captain America, Scarlet Witch, and Hulk on Gamma.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's also if Scarlet Witch doesn't fit, then it's Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Hulk, which seems pretty good. Getting Helios laser
or Fury instead of Scarlet, and just uh, port Hulk up the board.
Yeah, yeah, it gets a lot of. There's a lot of options there. I think we might be able to take advantage of Gamma more than other people can, and I think it's worth probably considering. Uh, I think secures are one of those we don't really want the super wide secures. Like I don't think we really want super powered scoundrels, because I think we might just auto lose to like kingpin on super powered scoundrels. Maybe not an auto loss, but probably we don't want to really give them that big of an advantage. We're not really wanting to go. I don't think we end up super duper wide. Um, so, um, not that one. Was the is it Riot Sparks? I think is the one that I was thinking of. Yeah. How do you feel about Riot Sparks? It's the D map, and you can remove a damage from a non-dazed character within 2 of the console.
Mm, I mean, I don't hate the D shape because we have Black Widow who can just fit on the point. Uh,
Yeah, the other D's are one's a pay to flip for energy defense, and one's cosmic invasion, which I always forget what it does.
no, that's the if you're standing by, you can get pushed. I don't
Yeah,
remember what the
I don't like that one.
results are.
Crit and wild. Within 1, if the result's a crit or wild, the character gains 2 power and is pushed short. The opposing character resolves it. I don't think that's where we want to be.
So I guess my question is, what is like our overall game plan? Are we trying to play scenario, or are we?
I think with what we've got, I think we've got pretty good scenario play, and I think we can kind of play both ways, right? I think we have that attrition game plan. I think the only thing I don't think we can do very well at is just like hard control. But I think we have a good like scenario game plan. I think we have a good attrition game plan. So I think we're kind of in that boat where I think we can play a little bit of everything. I was actually thinking this might be a decent list for pay to flips, because so many teams are not good at pay to flips. And I think we might be able to kind of take advantage of like Mutant Madmen. It's 18 threat, which I think is kind of a world where we might really enjoy being. It's the physical one, which is the best one for us. And then during the cleanup phase, each player controlling a trap chooses an enemy character within 2 of the trap they control. The chosen character suffers a damage, gains a power, and then you resolve each trap. There's 4 traps. It's a B. It's a B map.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that one. I just yeah for with riots, I just don't know if the healing, like if we're trying to fight the other team, I don't know if the healing would help them more than it would help us. Is the but Mutant Madman, I'm fine with.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking about riots. If we wanted to play that fight game, I don't think giving them a healing option's ideal. I my issue, I like those 2. I don't know what the third one would be. I don't hate intrusions. Um, that's always like my fallback third option. I think I like, but I also with pyro, I kind of like demons. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that because we do have Voodoo who's immune. Pyro can really take advantage of if they put one person on the thing, he can spread it around to the rest of the team.
yeah, I actually kind of
Uh,
I didn't really like losing a defense dice, but we do roll pretty good defenses from top to bottom. Pyro takes advantage of the incinerates, the voodoo being immune, um, Hulk being changed, actually getting extra dice isn't bad, but we're also playing that E shape, so like Vision and Hulk are in good spots if they want to be if they're going to be out there. Pyro's also really going to take advantage of everyone being incinerated. Um,
yeah, and we also have Luke Cage and Captain America where we can put somebody else on a point, and then they can attempt to protect them from the attacks.
yeah, we've kind of got those bodyguard setups. Yeah, I like demons, and I kind of like this setup because the secures kind of have a different game plan than our extracts. Like we're kind of in that like, all right, we're getting like on the extracts. It's like, all right, this is more of our scenario play, and then our secures are really like, hey, we're gonna fight you. and I think that really complements the list that we built. But it also, I think, is going to make it really tough for the opponent to choose if they want secures or extracts for us, because I think there are a lot of teams that don't want to pay play to flips. There's a lot of teams that don't want to play those E's. But again, you don't want to play Hulk with hammers. You don't want to play, the extra scenario play with Paranoia and Struggle. Paranoia is a little bit of a newer one. I don't think I think there's still a lot of people that don't really know how to play Paranoia. I would probably be one of those people because I don't think I've ever played it. But I think this list kind of is really good with that. So yeah, I think we've got a list here. So let's get a list breakdown real quick. Like I said, we got tons of options at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We've got tons of options across the board here. So I think we did a really good job on our spread. So final list, we've got Steve Rodgers, Captain America, leadership for the core box Avengers with Black Widow, 2 Threat, Doctor Voodoo, Hulk, Iron Man, Luke Cage, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Pyro, Nick Fury, and the Howling Commandos. We got our 10 tactics cards. We've got Ricochet Blast, Helios Laser Bombardment, Heroes for Hire, No More Mutants, Pyrotechnics, Avengers Assemble, Second Wind, Indomitable, Patch Up, Fallback, and then our secures, we chose Gamma, Mutant Madmen, Demons Downtown, and the extracts we've got Fear Grips World as Worthy Terrorized Cities. Wow, cities, not citizens, that's not a word. Struggle for the Cube continues, and Paranoia pummels Populace. What do you think of the overall list here, Mike?
I like it. So, again, like I said, I'm not too great at picking scenarios, so I'd have to play it out to really see how it does on the scenarios. But the overall list and the tactics cards, I think
yeah,
I'll
be honest. This is probably the list I'm least confident in the crisis that we chose. But I also don't think we have I don't think there's a crisis we don't have a game. Like, there's one crisis I don't think we have a game plan for, and that's Deadly Legacy viruses. And our game plan on that is to just make sure they don't get all 3 of them, which I think is probably fine. Fine enough. We don't have a game plan to do anything shenanigan-y with the legacy viruses, but I think we have a pretty good game plan. So I think we could kind of the crisis. I think they're fine. I'll probably try to test this list out this coming Wednesday. If I'll be down there, I'm not sure if you'll be able to make it or not. I know your work schedule's a lot more hectic.
Yeah, I know we're still trying to get things moved around, so I won't be. I won't be down this Wednesday.
Yeah, so I might, if I can get that game in, you'll hear on the next issue or episode of Crit Hit Wild. I'll kind of talk about the game because I actually really like this list and kind of want to test it out. I think I've got everybody except for Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos, and I can proxy that. That's not a problem, but I've got all the rest of these models, so I'm interested in this list. I actually think it's pretty strong. I think it's a really good starter list for those of you. And you've got if you got the core set, you've got Captain America, you've got Black Widow, you've got Iron Man. The rest of these models kind of got some solo boxes, you got some double boxes, but you can really kind of make it work. For those of you starting out, really want to test out the list and play it. But that's all we had on today's episode. I think the list is actually pretty strong. But the borderline really strong. It's a good starter list for your Avengers. Again, this list can go a million different directions. A million different characters fit in here. So toy with it. If there's a character that we missed that you think we should have spent more time on or really highly considered, shoot us a comment. Let us know. We're here to, have fun and build lists, and I'm always open to hearing everyone's opinions. So, but that's all for me. Mike, really appreciate you joining me. I know we'll have you back here for another one as long as you enjoyed it enough. I know there's another one you really, really interested in doing, so we'll get you back on here sooner, or eventually probably we'll let you get settled in and let everything calm down before I drag you out here again.
and I enjoyed it. It was a good time.
All right, man. Well, I just appreciate it, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Have a great time and have good games.